Okay. Oh, perfect.
Hi.
Okay, good. Good, good. Oh,
Ooh.
yay. Okay.
Yay! First time's a charm.
Perfect. Okay, we're ready. We're ready. Okay. So, hi guys, I'm Tamar Khashkhashan.
Hi, I'm Mind Afghan.
I'm Kiana Daisy Mama.
Hi, I'm Jessica Morgorian.
Okay. Yes. For everyone who didn't hear it before, can you tell us what your role is in our school at our school?
Yeah, so I'm a special education technician at École Arménienne Sulpagop, which means that I offer service to all the students, and I also have a few students I follow privately. I work with students with behavior, academic, and learning disabilities, and a bit of like mental health as well. I'm to make it more easier terms, I'm like the little like counselant at the school.
Yeah. Okay, good. So today's topic is anxiety, if you guys didn't know. Um, and yeah, you can also ask questions if you have any in the comments. We can answer anything. And let's get started. So go ahead.
So, first of all, we wanted to ask you, when you hear the words mental health, what comes to your mind? Like at first.
Well, for me, it's how I would describe mental health, and for me, it's like it's one's emotional, like psychological well-being. So everything that has to do with how your feelings and your brain. And for me, it's a topic that has to be spoken about all the time, and it doesn't have a limit. It's a very important no matter what stage you are in your life, and it's important to continue having that conversation, to not stigmatize it at all.
Yeah, that's so true. I
Yeah.
really think it's an important subject, like, because many people try to ignore it, but you can't ignore something that's important. Like
Yeah.
it's an everyday thing.
Yeah, and many people don't actually like to talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like in different, not even on our culture, but I think in different like Middle Eastern cultures and like families, it's something that is taboo in a sense that we don't want to talk about it. It's basically like suck it up, it's fine, everything's great,
Yeah.
you can just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
work on it. And it's not that case. It's more deeper than that.
It is.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. And like, how do you define anxiety, like in your opinion?
Well, anxiety, I feel like everyone has experienced anxiety one way or another in different types of like scale because anxiety is such a huge broad spectrum. For me, it's a reaction from like it's one's body and mind. It's a reaction to a very like stressful situation, a dangerous or something like unfamiliar. Like you start feeling this uneasiness, like it's like a pit in your stomach, and like the stress, a bit of dread, like dread for like something that's about to happen, or you're assuming something that's about to happen. It's like you're feeling like so worried and like nervous, and like you're feeling the what ifs are coming to your head, and like what if I'm gonna fail, like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
there's also like physical reactions that we get, like your heart starts racing, like you might not be able to breathe really well, like your palms are gonna get sweaty, maybe even nauseous. You get might be like angry, irritable. Everyone has like different reactions to it. This is like the most common to it. And also a little disclaimer, I'm not a psychologist. People think I'm a psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. So whatever I'm saying, this is from what I've studied in my field. And don't take its face value because anxiety, everyone faces it like in a whole different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
And I feel like there's no one that hasn't experienced it. Like
Yeah.
everyone at some point in their life have experienced that feeling
Yeah,
of
either they
stress.
experience it or they will experience it. And it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's actually kind of
Yeah.
normal to feel that way because life is not all rainbows and butterflies and certain things happen. And as humans, we have a certain reaction towards it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
And
to be scared about as well.
No,
Himself.
it's
yeah.
nothing to be scared
Yeah.
about. Maybe at first you don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
might feel like, what is this? Is am I supposed to feel towards this?
Yeah.
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 And sometimes you don't know what to do, like you don't know how to fix it, so like it stresses you even more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are there like types of anxiety or like it's just like one?
There's multiple types of anxiety. It's like a huge like umbrella. There's like severe anxiety. There's social anxiety, people who don't like to be in big groups of people. The fear, there's something called agoraphobia, which is basically not liking public places.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, like concerts, really, people don't like concerts because it's too close, it's too like in it. Some people don't like doing public speaking because they feel like they're gonna get judged and they might be like, I'm gonna say something wrong and people are gonna laugh at me. So there's like multiple like different types of it.
Yeah.
Is there like an actual difference between stress and anxiety?
Yeah. Yes and no. They have like similar like effects to it, but stress is something, it's a short response. For example, you guys have like a math exam coming up and you might be like very stressed about it. It's something, it's a one thing, and after the exam finished you might feel like a relief, like okay, like this is done, we're over with it. But anxiety, it's mostly you do your exam and you're like, what if I didn't do well? What if the next exam will fail? What if this exam, that's it, like I'm gonna fail my whole year, this is it, this is done, and you just start spiraling and think about other exams that you failed and any other things to it.
We have a question.
Yeah.
Does depression have a link to it?
They're two separate entities. So depression, it's basically more of sadness related. Anxiety, it's more worry. But a lot of people that I've worked with, some of them are diagnosed with depression and anxiety.
Does like anxiety like get to depression at some point? Can it?
It can. But don't take my word for it. It's just what I've seen like in different students. Because I've worked at Supagod, I worked in the public sector and also like another private sector. So I've seen like multiple versions of it, like from very hard depression to very like mild anxiety as well.
Okay.
I've heard like there's anxiety attacks. Like what is the difference between like just normal anxiety and like anxiety attacks? It's like more severe, but like is there other symptoms like?
An anxiety attack, it's an intrusive field of thought. So you start thinking about one thing and just goes on. Anxiety is like a general like feeling. It goes hand in hand. But I think you're talking about panic attacks too. Because sometimes people say like anxiety, like I have anxiety, I'm having a panic attack right now.
Yeah.
Panic attack is more like physiological, like you start hyperventilating. Sometimes the room starts spinning, like your legs are getting weak, you can't really stand up. So like panic attacks, it's more body, and anxiety attack, it's more in like your thoughts keep racing and you can't stop it. It just stops by itself.
Okay.
But like the panic attacks are because of anxiety, or like
it's because of anxiety, and it can happen anytime. Like you can just be like sitting at home and you might get a panic attack, but that's with people who have like very like severe anxiety.
Okay.
Usually who like, for people who are like diagnosed with like mild anxiety, it can come when they're faced with a very like stressful situation or something like traumatic has happened to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, depression is also like mental, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, do you think depression is worse than anxiety attacks, or it's like it's the same amount of like pain, or like?
Ooh, that's actually a very good question. Fiona coming to good questions. I think it depends on the person. Like I'm not one to say that one's worse than the other because everyone like experiences differently.
Yeah.
I feel like talking to like your local psychologist or even your local family doctor, they can give you more of like a better perspective than it, but we shouldn't be categorizing it as, oh, what's worse than the other.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Because everyone like experiences it like differently.
Because then there's like a sense of judgment, like, oh, like why are you having anxiety? But I have depression.
Yeah.
Like, who has the worst of them all? But à la fin du journée, we can all put them in the same like category. Like it's still something that needs to be talked with and dealt with in a healthy manner.
And it's all related. Like is all about yourself and like how to treat, well, how to like control it by yourself, you know, because like I don't think anyone could do it together, you know, like it's not a group thing that you could resolve. It's like it's more mostly like about you.
Yeah, it's really about you and how you can take care of yourself, and it's up to you to say, you know what, like this is something that I've been struggling with, and I think it's time for me to really put myself first.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, we have a question.
Yeah.
Does anxiety and depression disorders only affect students and young people?
Nope. Mental health, anxiety, depression does not see age. It can happen in your early childhood. It can happen later on in life. It can happen when you're 85 years old. It does not stop.
Yeah, true.
That's why it's very important to keep your self-care, keep your mental health in check. Just like I go to the doctor to get your body checked up, you do the same thing with your head. Just you have to check up and see if everything's good, if you're good. And if you need to take a day off, you can take a day off for your mental health as well.
Sure. And what are like different situations that can cause like someone anxiety, or like you said before, the math exams or something like that, but like is there other examples as well?
Yeah, like for example, something traumatic can happen, like a loss, like a death in the family, a loss of a friendship, something like a major event that's happening in someone's life, family problems, like anything can really trigger it.
Yeah.
Right.
Someone asked, does anxiety affect your blood system?
Does anxiety affect your blood system, as in your blood pressure drops, or I don't
Probably.
like your blood pressure drops? I don't
Could be.
know. Could be. I'm not sure. You can ask your doctor about it. I really don't know if it has anything to do with your blood system.
Do you see like the anxiety usually happens in school more, or like what's your thought about that?
I think there is anxiety in schools. I think there's a lot of pressure on you guys, I find. And I feel like you guys put a lot of pressure on yourselves,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to grades. And now you guys are in Sec 4, so there's the marks you have to think about, and there's CEGEPs, and then there's COVID, and then there's the hybrid system, and then you guys have stuff, your personal life has an effect. So sometimes, oh, I'm so sorry, you guys are falling. And sometimes it can be a lot to handle.
So
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And especially like you're in school, you have an older sister, younger brother. Sometimes you get compared, like, oh, your brother this year never did that. Oh, you're so much better than your sister. And that can put like extra stress on you. And you can be like, okay, like if I did that, if he did that, so I have to be as better.
Yeah.
It's just like so much pressure.
Even
Especially
oh, sorry. Even with society, I feel like, for example, people say like, oh, the nerds are very smart, you know, like, but in a way, if they do something bad, like for example, in a math exam, you know, like they have so much stress because if someone asks them like what did their grade, like what was their grade, you know, like they can't really answer back with a smirk on their face, you know.
Yeah, like especially when you guys are comparing notes, like, oh,
Yeah.
I got a 90, and then you have like an 85, and you're like, you know what? I'm not gonna say my grade, and then your classmates get mad. You, why aren't you telling your grade for me?
Yeah.
Like it's good to have healthy competition, but when it comes really obsessive and you get into your head a lot, it can become very like crippling too.
True.
Sure.
I honestly think a lot of people's anxiety come from school and like exams, schoolwork, homework. I feel like there's a lot of pressure on students nowadays, mostly.
Yeah.
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 Because people expect you to do good and be good, and when you're not motivated or you're not concentrating enough and you don't do good, and everyone's like, work harder, but like you can't.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like especially now with COVID, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Because we're faced with the unknown. Like every day is this is it gonna be my last day I'm coming to the school? Am I gonna come back next week? Like, we don't know. And that has an effect on you. And it's just not only like our school, there's all kids your age. Something that's been talked about, like lack of motivation and lack of drive. But one thing I want to applaud for you guys is you guys are doing an amazing job handling it. You guys are really doing good, especially with all these projects that you guys are working on, just giving you guys something to do with all these restrictions now. Like, honestly, like, I applaud you guys. You guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We
And
appreciate it.
my piece of advice is don't take yourselves so seriously. If you guys know how, like, your value, like, this is what I can do in your grades, in your projects, like, this is what I can do, and I'm content with that, and I'm happy with the results I'm getting, that should be enough with you. Like, if you got a 79 or even an 80 in your exam, be happy with that. Don't think of, oh, you know what, I should have stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning just to give that extra, like, push in the study so I can get my 90.
Yeah.
Like, just be happy and content and, like, savor that little joy that you're receiving. Things like this, it really, like, will decrease your anxiety. And just telling yourself, I'm doing a good job, man. I'm 16, I'm living a pandemic, I'm in high school, I'm dealing with all this. Give yourself a pat on the back and saying, you know what, I'm doing an okay job.
Yeah.
There's another question. How would be your reaction if someone's not motivated?
I feel like it's really getting to the bottom of it. Like, why aren't you being motivated? And they're gonna say, like, I lost everything. Like, my after school activities are gone. I can't see my friends after school. I have to be home by 8.
Yeah.
I have to wear a mask 9 hours a day. I can't see my friends from the other class. There's all these, like, restrictions that's happening. But my thing is, try to find that happiness. For example, if mom makes you your favorite meal, or you're going to your favorite fast food, and in that moment, if you're happy, let yourself be happy and be in the moment. Like, be present and say, you know what, things are not going well, but in this specific moment, I'm good. Like, your favorite show came on, and just be in the moment and, like, savor that. Because one, you are allowed to savor that moment and, like, be happy. Because I feel like there's also the guilt too, like, oh, I shouldn't be happy as well. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way because XYZ is happening around me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to have those moments.
Yeah.
Also, like, going back to anxiety, what are different ways or different things to do to overcome anxiety?
Oh, there's, like, multiple stuff. One, the most
If you
common
could
one
give,
is,
like, some tricks, examples.
yeah. One of them is breathing. Some people's like, haha, breathing, like, what's the point? I've heard this, like, a million times, like, or meditation. When you're having anxiety, like, very stressful anxiety, you're spiraling. There's so much stuff going around. You're having your millions of thoughts going to your brain. Your body's reacting to. So we need to calm you down. Your heart's racing. The whole point of breathing exercises is getting your heart rate back to normal. So when you take deep breaths in from your nose and out of your mouth, from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1, it's really calming your heart rate down and really stabilizing you. Some people even like to sit cross-legged on the floor and touch the floor to really ground themselves and saying, you know what, I'm okay now. This will pass. I'm safe. This is my safe spot. And really going that. Also, having hobbies too, like arts and crafts is an amazing way to, like, express yourself and really, like, getting all that energy out. If you play a musical instrument like piano, guitar, violin, that's another amazing way to do it. And finding really healthy coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
Do it. Like, if you like to play soccer and, like, yeah, you can't go outside, but if you go on the street and pass the ball with your siblings or your parents, that might be a very good way to, like, express yourself and getting that out as well.
Yeah.
Even though we are restricted, there are certain ways that you can take that out. Like, for example, like, me and my friends, like, I can't see my friends because of the COVID and the lockdown. So what we do is, like, we play, one of us would make, like, a Jeopardy, and we play Jeopardy, or we play, like, Pictionary, and just to have that connection, just making that little moment is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's really important to find something to do in these times because we're so restricted from activities that it's like you're in your room, you have nothing to do, you're bored, you're not motivated, you're like you need to find something to do to like fix
Let
that.
it out, yeah.
Anything to bring you back from the routine. Like once the pandemic
Yeah.
hit in last March, all of our routines changed.
Yeah.
Like we had, for example, like you guys, 15 years going to school, after school activities. Like Fridays you got your scouts, like Saturdays you had badinagan. Like there's all these activities, and it was a routine. Every week it was the same thing, and we loved it so
Exactly.
much. And then suddenly it got taken away from you.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? You get the questions of like, why me, why this, like what's happening, like I don't want to do this anymore. And if I don't do this anymore, there's more consequences that comes with it.
Okay.
And a lot of organizations have adapted to it, more
Yeah.
online meetings and all that, just to give the youth, you guys, a bit of normal, like back to normalcy, something of a routine.
But it's not the same.
And it's not the same, but it's close to the same.
It's not the same.
I know it's not the same, but it's a bit of something
Yeah.
back.
We're trying our best. It's not
Yeah.
easy to cope with this, so we're doing our best.
Even in darkness, there's always a moment of light.
Yeah.
That moment of light could be a brief 30 seconds, it could be an hour, it can be 5 minutes, but you had your moment of sun and moment of brightness and happiness. And you should accept that and be like, you know what? C'est pas si pire. It's bad, but you know what? There's some moments of good too.
Yeah.
I feel like we started to appreciate the little things we wouldn't before COVID, and I think that's like kind of beautiful about this.
What
You
did you
know?
guys appreciate, like from all of COVID?
Me, it's the time alone I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had time alone to work on myself. I saw things I didn't like about myself that I changed, and I'm really happy I did. I think that's the biggest like positive thing about it.
A lot of self-growth and self-reflection. I
Yeah.
like that. Good for you, Tamar.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's mostly like self-love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even the homework, like before I didn't really have the time to do like the work that I needed to do, but now like I'm more organized, I find. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like schoolwork isn't my thing anymore. I don't feel like doing anything.
Shh, your teachers might be watching.
Oh, sorry. I
We love
didn't say
you.
anything.
They're doing their homework. Amazing homework.
Yeah.
On top of their stuff.
Monsieur Shant, I'm doing all my history homework. Don't worry about it.
Mane, what about you?
I'd say probably like the time with my family, because before it was just like friends and like school, and yeah, I think I really like appreciate it even more. Yeah. No?
No,
It's true.
No.
hero, hashtag
That's so true.
Uh,
Okay. So yeah, we actually had more time to spend with our families. And I think
feel
that's a bond you need in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone got closer to their families because that's
Yeah.
like the only people you were spending time with, so you kind of had like
Yeah.
no choice.
Yeah.
And like I've heard like a lot of siblings are getting closer to their parents, having conversations that you never knew that you could have with your parents, and ended up very well conversations. So it's basically really building more of a solid relationship with your personal like inner circle, as in your parents, your siblings, maybe calling your grandparents more often, or your family members that you maybe talk to, like you've seen them like once a month at that one wedding or something, but you're talking to them more and more, which is amazing, getting closer to your family as well.
Yeah.
So there are bright sides to this pandemic, getting closer to your family, getting closer to your friends, getting to know yourself better. See, sun and all dark. There's always sun and darkness, guys. Always.
Yeah. I think I figured like I learned so many new things about myself I wouldn't know if COVID didn't happen.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I feel like COVID taught us how to be alone. Because
Yeah.
COVID, it was always like rush. There's always things to do, and always wanted to see people. I want to stay home. I want to go see my friends. I want to do all these activities. I want to travel. But when that was all removed from you, the only person you had to really like hang out with yourself, to hang
Yeah.
out with, was yourself.
Yeah.
And some people don't like that because they
Yeah.
might feel uncomfortable. But I can see Keela smiling. And that can be really awkward and uncomfortable because it's the first time that you have to spend time with yourself. And then you realize, when's the last time I did this?
And
And
I honestly like I started liking spending time alone. I enjoy my own company now, and it's like it's a good thing. Now I know
no, it is a good thing.
if I ever end up alone, I know that I'm fine with it because I love myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Facts.
Facts.
Yeah.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna be obliged to always be with your friends or like always hang out with them. Because at that point, usually you're gonna feel like you're not missing out because it will happen. That same activity or the same that will happen again. So instead of that, you can always spend time with yourself, putting
Yeah.
yourself as a priority.
That's important. That's really important to put yourself first sometimes.
Yeah.
And do you think, okay, we had this cool question. Do you think the weather has an effect on your mental health?
Yeah. Actually, there's there's actually multiple clinical studies that like professionals have done, especially in northern countries, so like Canada, north of Europe, where we have longer winters and summers. There are multiple studies say that weather has a huge effect on our mental health. So, okay, we in our brain we have this neurotransmitter called serotonin. It's basically our mood boosting like neurotransmitter. So it controls all of our mood. And they say that when you're more exposed to sunlight, you tend to be more happier. So that's why I don't know if you guys might have realized, but in the summertime, you guys are more in a better mood. Everything's more like lively and fun.
Yeah.
But when the winter time, when it's more darker, like it's 4 o'clock and it's pitch black outside, you're leaving school, you're leaving work, your mood's not always there. You might feel a bit more down, more sluggish because you're not getting enough sunlight. And one thing that doctors really recommend is taking vitamin D. I'm not a doctor. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about it, but vitamin D is really, really good for your immune system, for your bones, and even for your serotonin levels. And a lot of doctors, like in Canada, they prescribe patients with vitamin D to really help them with their mood. And it's very, very good for you too.
Yeah.
That's why when the summer, that's why at school, when the weather is nice, we say we're going outside. Even if it's for like a little time, it's good for you. It's good to be exposed in the sun.
Yeah, it is.
And usually we say like you could get fresh air, but with the masks, it doesn't really work, but it's fine.
The sun is still coming on you. We're gonna enjoy the sun. The masks are the masks, but we're still enjoying that sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of really, it's not really fun now with the curfew. Like at 8 o'clock, there's still this sunlight outside. So that kind of sucks. But even before, like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, go outside, like take that opportunity to be in the sun, to be outside and just soaking all that in.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll see your mood will change. Your mood will change for the better.
Yeah. And I think now that summer's coming, like everyone wants to get out. So like going to bike or go to the park or get some ice cream and still be happy.
So. I really, really hope so. Let's hope that all the numbers go down. We'll be able to like have little get-togethers in our backyards in a safe distance. Like really, really fun. Yes, Maggie, you can do your work outside too. You guys can do your homeworks outside.
Honestly, I don't know how that works. I don't know how people concentrate doing work outside in the sun. I would
honestly last year you can really do it. Last year when we were all like quarantined, I was working from my balcony. Like I had my laptop out, I had like a huge extension cord, and I was just under the sun like the whole day. It was really fun.
I don't think I can do that. I probably would just like give up, like, okay, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna lay under the sun or like put music and just chill.
You should try, honestly, Tama, like you should take it really seriously. Like one day, just do it.
Okay, I'll try.
You should really try. It'll be very fun.
Yeah.
But back to the pandemic subject. Do you think the pandemic like affected a lot of people like to get anxiety, to get like more pressure or like stress?
The pandemic really hit everyone. I don't, even in my personal circle, even, I feel like each and one of my family members or even friends, each one of us have been affected by COVID one way or another. Just being removed. And I know a lot of people, they've lost their jobs over this. Yes, they're served, but sometimes it's not enough. So people are struggling to find, like, meet, like, I just forgot how to speak, to make ends meet. A lot of people are struggling. A lot of people lost family members over it.
Yeah.
And a lot, and that's really stressful because you don't know how you can change it, and a lot of people don't like being home at a lot of time. Like, for example, like, I'm lucky that I can work at a school, so I'm leaving my house every day, so that's a change of scenery for me too. But a lot of people are stuck at home and they have to work from home, and it can cause a lot of stress because you're always in that one room in your house, and by the time you finish work, have dinner, it's curfew,
and you're tired and you just want to sleep.
You're tired and you just want to stay home.
Yeah.
But now with the good weather, people want to go outside more, so they're taking that extra, like, that hour that they have, they're trying to go outside.
Yeah,
for sure. I can't wait for summer.
What?
I can't wait for summer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
Counting
sure.
Counting the days. Like, I feel like for us was worse as Armenians because in the midst of a pandemic we had a war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was a big impact. Not only us here in Montreal, but worldwide.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how do you think it affected our mental health? Because I know it did. I just want, like, your opinion.
Just seeing you guys at school and how you guys were reacting, my heart was broken because I couldn't believe that you guys are so young. And, like, I'll put my generation to, like, our generation, we never really experienced a war.
Never.
Especially, we never experienced a war in our own country. And just seeing it for that long happening and feeling, I felt the helplessness in you guys. I felt like you guys were trying all your, whatever you guys can to bring awareness to the topic and all that. But just seeing that unfold was really, really heartbreaking. I felt really like I told all my friends, like, how can I help them? Like, what can I do to help these kids? Because it was just seeing you guys struggling, all that, was really, really tough on me. Because because you guys were coming with me with questions and answers, like, what happened to Armenia today? And I was just looking at you guys, I'm like, I don't know, like, what can I tell you? Because, like, I knew what was happening because I have connections, and like, I have people who are following the news daily, and they were every hour they were getting updates and they were updating me. I did not want to update you guys because I'm like, you know what? Let's focus on school. Let's just take that hour and just focus them on school, just to forget about that, because I knew once you guys were getting home, it's the topic of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, this happened, go call this person and all that. Yeah, like Caleb said, like, the who, what, when, where, how, why, all these questions. And I feel like it was worse when we lost the war.
Yeah.
I feel like that really hurt you guys a lot.
Yeah, it did. It did. I think personally for me, it really affected me because I felt so helpless, like I couldn't do anything. I was trying my best, like spreading awareness on social media, but I physically can't do more, but I just wanted to, like, end it already. And then when we lost the war, I felt even worse because we were saying we're gonna win. That little hope just then went poof,
in a second.
and then
yeah, at one point, like, we were tearing up, like, we cried a bit,
in class.
Yeah. Yeah, it was horrible.
It was very difficult, not only for you guys, but I feel like for the teaching staff as well. It was really hard on all of us. But one thing I want you guys to remember is that, yes, we lost, I want to call it a battle. We lost the battle, but we never lost the whole war. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Because you guys are still going to an Armenian school. Hayren kidek khosil, hayren kidek katal, hayret pamuchunda kidek, yev bidi shadna gen kasiga. Until we're still standing there, until we keep speaking the language, we're still saying our story, we are still saying our truth, we will never lose.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's also, yes, it was extremely traumatic. It was extremely difficult to watch and see. But I also feel like it is a good lesson for you guys to see that not everything is easy.
Yeah.
And there is a sense of helplessness somewhere, but there's always ways to be able to do something, from raising awareness to talking about it to making social campaigns and fundraisers and raising funds. Then to see it's all lessons that you guys learned, and it's all life lessons that you guys will always carry with you.
Yeah.
And we're not done. Like,
And we're not
just
done.
because we lost one thing, yeah, it doesn't mean that we lost the whole
Exactly.
battle, you know?
We're still standing. You guys are still
Yeah.
standing. We're still standing. We're still thriving, and we're doing our best to live and survive and conquer. And you
Yeah.
guys should be
We
very
can't
proud.
lose hope.
You can't lose
Yeah.
hope. And you guys should be very proud of how far you come, and you should also applaud yourself of staying strong too during that very hard period as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this was really something that affected everyone, and the fact that we stood strong together, that really we just created this bond between each other. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was
Yeah.
like nice to have that family like coming together,
Yeah.
that feeling that everyone's together. It was nice.
It was
Yeah.
like a family reunion.
Yeah.
Just knowing that no matter where you are in the world, you have someone across the world having your back.
Yeah.
So you might feel a little less alone too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know, like from Instagram and like the online platforms, like I've met like different Armenians across the world too.
Yeah.
The power of social media. So that really helped with like my anxiety that I was feeling during that time too. And having like good coping mechanisms, like speaking to your friends or speaking to your family members about it, like how you're feeling about the war, and really trying to figure out, okay, like this is what's happening. What can I do to be a bit happy as well during that moment? For example, being happy doing a fundraiser, being able to help families that are in need and all that.
Yeah.
And just continuing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So
I
this
actually
was
have a question.
oh yeah,
Really?
yeah, go ahead.
More to you guys.
Okay.
How do you guys feel of being the generation of social media? Like, has that caused you guys like anxiety or like discomfort of like what you guys are seeing? Like, do you guys know what's real, what's not when you're online?
I think since we were like born with social media, it's something we're used to.
Yeah.
But also with social media, I feel like we're just being, like Miss Alex said yesterday, we're being fed these things that aren't really true sometimes. And we grew up like learning these things, and it's just creating a new mentality, and it like affects our mental health, because sometimes they're toxic things, or they're not good for our own mental health. And I think we need to like keep an eye on it, and not just fall for like social media and say, oh, social media is our last hope, our last like thing, resort to happiness or whatever. And yeah.
Well, my answer to this question is like completely different, because I feel like a lot of people told me that I don't belong in this generation. And I really do think that I don't belong in this generation, because of like
Why?
it's hard because I have like the old mentality. Like I don't like the internet or like social media and like technology, you know? So like I loved the before like generations. It was fun, you know, like even
Yeah.
though I wasn't even there, you know? Yeah, so like
Yeah.
but now I'm so used to it, like, and I'm trying to figure out how it works, you know? It's hard. This generation, like people think that it's easy. No, it isn't. Like I don't think so. It's
Yeah.
very complicated, yeah.
What about you, Mane?
I was also gonna say, like, we kind of got used to it, but there are things that people normalize and we see them on social media and we're like, oh, so it's normal, but like
Yeah,
in reality it's not. So it's like it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong.
that's so true. Yeah, like it can be different topics like body positivity. Like we're
Yeah,
being
like anything.
like we think a normal body is being skinny, big booty, big, you
Yeah,
know, all that. And I think it's important to not normalize that because not everyone can have that. We're not it's not our choice. We're not born that way, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like, I feel like in this generation, it's very difficult to have like self-love because
Yeah.
everything that we are watching or everything that we see is like just concentrating about our like physicalities, and like we should just normalize every unique body, because
Yeah,
we're
Yeah.
perfect in our own ways.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think Miss Jessica is having
Yeah.
internet
I was
connection
looking,
problems.
right?
I thought it was me, but
Is
okay.
she back? I don't know.
She froze, I think.
Yeah, she's frozen.
Yeah.
Can she hear us?
Mm.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I feel like this is Surfagov's Wi-Fi.
I mean, let's hope she doesn't have any other questions.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I
I'm
don't
hoping
want to
she's
leave now.
well.
Let it
That
load.
was it.
Oh, we lost
Oh,
her. Damn it. Okay, well, I guess she's gonna come back. I don't know. Do you guys have any questions in the
yeah.
comments? You guys can ask us.
We'll try to respond.
She lost internet.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions or comments,
There's a live tomorrow.
yeah, we're gonna have a live tomorrow as well. So, join us tomorrow too. It's gonna be with Miss Lara Naim. I'm pretty sure you guys all know her. If you don't, you'll meet her tomorrow. And we're super excited. Thank you, Miss Jessica.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate your presence and your participation. It's an honor for you to
Yeah.
have here tonight. And thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening, and we'll
Bye.
keep you guys updated.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.